The country is now at an all-time low. Hundreds and thousands of people are dead due to the coronavirus. The economy is down. News reports suggest that there's a second wave coming. Locust attacks, what is that? And if we don't take care of ourselves, we're pretty much doomed. Now, if you thought that that was the conversation in the country, it pretty much was until the second week of May. But last week, we got a little distracted. So while we are having this conversation between apps, let's talk about something that could actually be of value and worth your time. Now, if you're aged between 18 to 35, it's likely that you get your information from the internet, and more precisely, YouTube. And if you're a regular consumer of YouTube, you most probably know who this man is. But for those who don't know, Joe Rogan runs the world's best and number one podcast. He's been on the top for so many years. His podcast is entertaining. It doesn't have a specific niche. It's crazy sometimes. It's stupid. You learn from it. You get entertained. Guests from all ends of a spectrum appear on the show, so it's pretty diverse. And he's also one of my biggest inspiration for doing this. Now, last week, something happened. Joe, or as many people fondly call him, the internet's daddy, made this huge announcement that broke the internet.
The podcast is moving to Spotify. Starting on September 1st, the entire JRE library will be available on Spotify as well.
To give you more context, 23 minutes after Joe made the announcement, Spotify's market cap went up by $1 billion. Billion. Now, at a time where the world's economy is sinking, people are losing their jobs, this is a huge deal. Now, considering that Joe makes about $70,000 reportedly per episode of his podcast on YouTube, what do you think, besides the money that Spotify is offering him that YouTube isn't? How is it going to affect you as a consumer? How is it going to affect want-to-be creators like me? How is it going to affect creators who are already at a level? So all of this got me thinking, and I decided to give my opinion on it. Again, I am no expert. This is just my opinion. I might be completely wrong. Please let me know in the comments. Now, off late, a lot of creators have been complaining that YouTube has been either demonetizing their videos or are completely taking down their videos if the content of the video doesn't conform with their norms. Now, this is prevalent among a lot of creators in the West to our very own Carrie Minati. So it almost feels like YouTube is going all out in removing content that they don't necessarily agree with, and this has heightened in the coronavirus pandemic. Even if a certified doctor, physician, infectious disease expert, even if they put out content that is about the coronavirus that does not conform with the WHO, they are reportedly taking it down. Now, this might seem like good news because you might think that it curbs the spread of misinformation, but the WHO has been wrong before, and even during this coronavirus pandemic, they kind of faced a huge accusation. So who's to decide who is right or wrong seems to be an issue in terms of censorship. And one of the major reasons on why YouTube has been working for so long is because it provides information on both ends of the spectrum. But most importantly, a video removed by YouTube is sort of a black mark on a creator's credibility. It might affect his relationship with his brands, which is his main source of income. So because of this, creators are having a problem with YouTube as of late. And when it comes to Joe, he used to do live stream podcasts a year ago where anything goes. He went off the rails sometimes it was very knowledgeable, sometimes it was very entertaining. So it was a mix of everything. But since the last year, he has stopped doing his live streams and his podcast has been relatively more clean. And I wonder what the reason could be. Joe, you gotta stop doing these live streams. That's preposterous. Do you remember the time I had Elon on the podcast and we got high? Exactly, Joe. Exactly. You just answered your own question. If Joe is leaving YouTube, it's probably because Spotify has offered him the creative freedom to say or do whatever he wants. And that, in my opinion, will also pull other creators who are facing the censorship issue. So now that we've talked about the giant elephant in the room, which is censorship, and we've also talked about the giant elephant that is not so much in the room anymore, which is TikTok, let's talk about what Spotify has been doing silently to pull creators and audiences. Now, since YouTube is a visual medium and it's not audio like Spotify, you could ask me the question on how creators from YouTube will move to Spotify because it's not the same visual industry. Now, we'll get to that in a bit, but let's talk about Spotify's audio. Now, how often have you been at the gym, or how often have you been on a drive or doing household chores while listening to music or podcasts? The probability is pretty high, right? So Spotify by its nature is pretty much designed for you to be listening to it during multitasking, as in while you're working, while you're going on a walk, while you're going on a run, while you're at the gym, etc, etc, etc. Now, while you're consuming YouTube, you can't multitask because while you keep the phone in your pocket, you can't lock the phone. So the phone hits your thigh, you experience frequent interruptions, you send text messages by mistake to people who you shouldn't be sending, and a lot of that happens, but you don't have this problem on Spotify. Now, YouTube does have a service where you can lock the phone and you can listen to music, but it requires you to pay. And I'd bet that people would rather listen to a Spotify ad, listen to uninterrupted Spotify music for 30 days rather than paying for solely locking their phone and listening to music. So now that we have audio covered, let's keep this here for now and let's move to video. Now, if you look at Joe's announcement,
it will become exclusive to Spotify, including the video version of the podcast.
He says that the video version of his podcast is going to be available on Spotify, which clearly suggests that Spotify is going to come up with video. So they have video podcasts for now, they have audio music, and they also have audio podcasts. Now, YouTube started as a platform for just uploading random videos, and it evolved and evolved and evolved, and now it is the home to podcasting also. So who knows, non-podcast video creators might also find a market in Spotify as the app evolves. So going back to the drawing board, Spotify now has video podcasts, Spotify has audio music, which will enable you to multitask without any hassle, without any interruptions. And Spotify also has audio podcasts. Now, all of these act as pros in comparison to YouTube. Just to add to all of this, Spotify has also spent a lot on multiple acquisitions, and we'll talk about the only important ones for this video now. Spotify has acquired two companies called Gimlet and Anchor. Now, I don't have any knowledge about Gimlet. I tried installing it. I had various problems, but however, I did install Anchor, and this was my experience. When you want to host your podcast, you'll need something called as an RSS feed, which to my understanding is a basic server where you upload your stuff, you upload your content, and it will distribute it to various platforms like Spotify, Google Podcasts, iTunes, etc. This can be a little bit of a hassle, and it will eventually cost you some money to buy this RSS feed. Now, Spotify has acquired this company called Anchor, which makes it very, very easy for you. It gives you the tools to start your own podcast with just your mobile phone. You just open the app, you just record, and you just hit upload, and you are officially on Spotify. So not only do they have the tools that we discussed before, but they're also giving you the tools to create yourself with as much less hassle as possible. So now we've talked about what YouTube is doing wrong, what Spotify is doing right. Now let's get to the business end of things. In my opinion, for brands to invest in Spotify is a way better idea than investing in YouTube. I'll explain. Now let's say that I'm in my gym working out. The probability of me skipping an ad during my workout is way more less than me skipping an ad on YouTube. Now, YouTube is a visual medium, so it requires your 100% full attention, and your thumb is right here ready to skip the ad as soon as it appears. But when I'm in the middle of a workout or any other activity that I'm engaged in, the odds of me reaching out to my pocket while doing something else and skipping an ad is more or less probable than me doing it on YouTube. Does that make sense? If I listen to the same ad over 5 times, the ad's brand is going to subconsciously be planted in my head, which leads to brand discovery. So in my opinion, since Spotify has all of these multiple facets and a huge chunk of the portion is going to be using audio, something that YouTube lacks unless you pay, you as a brand getting discovered by these audiences is much more probable than you getting discovered on YouTube. Now that we have all of the pieces together, let's just consolidate it all so that you get a clear picture on what I'm trying to convey. So those were my suggestions and observations on Spotify and YouTube. I might be completely wrong. I might be 50% wrong. I might be 100% wrong. Please do let me know. These were merely my observations. If you have any comments, please do share them below. I will read all of them. So until the next video, cheers and stay safe.